Are you a registered nurse wanting to work in New Zealand? If yes, then keep watching! Hello everyone! My name is Joanne Roxanne and welcome to my channel. So today, I'm going to share to you the step-by-step process on how to become a nurse in New Zealand. So short intro. I am a Filipino nurse who worked in Saudi Arabia for 7 years. And now I am in New Zealand, currently enrolled in a Competency Assessment Program for Nurses, or CAP for short. So being enrolled in CAP, and of course passing it, is the last step to being a New Zealand registered nurse. And I will go over that in details in a while. So what I am going to share to you is purely based on my experience, and it is completely do-it-yourself. Meaning, no agency needed, no need to go to the Philippines while applying if you're working abroad, and no need to resign from your job while applying. So the first thing that you have to know is that you have to have at least 2 years of nursing practice in the last 5 years. Pwede sa Pinas, pwede sa abroad, as long as 2 years in the last 5 years. And the next step, what I did was to take an English exam. Because once you pass an English exam, everything else will follow na lang. One tip I can give you is that do not take an English exam if you do not plan on going through the whole process of application. Kasi as most of us know, may expiration yung English exam, which is 2 years. So if mag-expire and mag-retake ka, sayang naman kasi mahal, diba? So for New Zealand, you can either take IELTS Academic or OET. And for me, I chose OET because the scenarios are all healthcare related. So, nakarelate talaga ako. And for OET, you have to have at least 350 in each area. So, thankfully, nakapasa naman ako in one sitting. And also good to know, if your experience is in UK, Ireland, Canada, or USA, you can apply for a waiver for language testing. But it is still up for approval. But for me, since my experience is in Saudi Arabia, definitely I need to take an English exam. So the next step after you pass an English exam is you have to go to the website of the Nursing Council of New Zealand and then start the application. From there, you will be redirected to the CGFNS website for the credentials verification. So, once nasa CGFNS na kayo and you were able to sign up, you have to fill out the profile part. So, ito yon. You have to fill out everything, and once done, you will pay the fee of $300 US. Then after 2 to 3 days, you will be receiving the email from them saying that you can now check your account and then print the verification forms. So, based doon sa profile na fill out time nyo, doon lalabas ang verification forms. For me, ang lumabas sa akin ay eto, 2 forms for identity, which is one for passport and then another one for a valid ID. So, these 2 forms of identity need to be notarized. And then, 2 forms for employment because I worked in 2 hospitals for the last 5 years. And then 1 form for university, yung education credentials. And then 2 forms for license validation, which is one sa PRC and then one sa Saudi Council. These are the forms that need to be filled out by the responsible institutions. And those institutions should be the one to fill out and then mail them to the CGFNS. Kasi like yung experience ko sa Saudi Council, sa Saudi Council. So I went there sa Saudi Council and then they asked me to fill out the form by myself and they will just sign it. So naniwala naman ako kasi they even showed me an example na the applicant was the one who filled out the form and they just signed it. So naniwala ako. But fast forward, Nursing Council of New Zealand emailed me saying that I have to redo the verification because they had a reason to believe na ako yung nag-fill out ng form. So, syempre, hindi ko na-deny, diba? So, yun, sayang sa oras. And thankfully, they let me redo the verification because they can easily reject the whole application kung if they wanted to, diba? So, careful kayo sa part na yon. Then sa Philippines, sa PRC and UST, I just signed the forms and then together with authorization letters, sent them to the Philippines to my mother. And then yung mother ko na yung naglakad. Pinasabay ko lang nung may nagbakasyon from Saudi to Philippines. But I remembered when my husband had his verification, he just scanned the forms and then emailed them to the Philippines. And then from there, doon na nila pinrint. And that's fine also. So, both PRC and UST, they already know what to do with the CGFNS verification. So, you just have to pay the verification fee and then the courier fee. Then, sa work history, ganun din. It's either HR or nursing admin yung mag-fill out ng form. So, depende sa employer nyo. And then, the last part ng verification is the OET, which is the easiest part. You just have to go to your OET account and then allow CGFNS to access your results. So, once CGFNS received all the forms, it will take them around 30 days to send you the report. And then another 30 days for you to approve or reject the report that they did. So, this is what the report looks like. It's basically a summary of all the documents they had verified. And then, once you check and approve the report, they will now send it to the Nursing Council of New Zealand. And then, from my experience, within 1 day, I already received my invitation to apply for New Zealand Nursing Council registration. So, you just have to follow the instructions from their email to apply for the registration and then pay the registration fee of 485 New Zealand dollars. And then within 30 business days, a case manager will be assigned to you to review your documents. And if your credentials meet the requirements for registration, you will then be receiving your CAP offer letter. So, eto na. Ano ba tong CAP offer letter na to? This means that onting-onti na lang, hello New Zealand na! Because this letter states that your credentials have already been verified and that you meet the requirements from English exam to your employment, to your school, and to your licenses. So the only thing missing is that you prove that you are competent enough to practice nursing in New Zealand, and to be able to do that, you need to enroll with a CAP provider. So if you are a registered nurse in Australia or USA or Canada or Ireland or Singapore, you may not be required to attend a CAP. So depende. But for me, I'm a registered nurse in Saudi and Philippines, so kailangan ko talaga mag-CAP. So, in the CAP offer letter, there is a list of all the CAP providers, and my advice is to apply to all. Kasi, I applied to 4 schools. I tried to apply sa 4 schools. And then, the 2 schools, naka-waiting list because they have limited slots for offshore students because of border restrictions due to COVID. And then, yung isa, totally hindi sila kumuha ng offshore students as of now because again of their border restrictions. So when Lonsdale offered me a slot, kahit mas mahal siya sa ibang school, I accepted it. So this CAP, the CAP will run for 6 to 12 weeks depende sa school. And then after you finish the CAP, you can now apply for an annual practicing certificate which is equivalent yung sa PRC license natin. And then, you can finally apply for a job in New Zealand. So, there you have it. So, to summarize the steps, number 1, you have to have at least 2 years of nursing experience in the last 5 years. Number 2, pass an English exam. Number 3, verification of your credentials through CGFNS. Number 4, apply for registration in the Nursing Council of New Zealand. And number 5, enroll with a CAP provider. So that's it. Thank you so much. And for my next video, i-share ko naman kung magkano nga ba ang nagastos ko for this application. So, like and subscribe. Thank you so much!